Bitcoin just had its first red weekly candle close for the first time in 8 weeks. We had 8 consecutive green weekly candles in a row, and we finally just had the first red one. So, what does this mean? What's going to happen next? That's what we're going to dive into this Bitcoin update here. We're going to start with the weekly chart. And after a monster move to the upside, are we going to continue to see it consolidate, possibly sideways, or are we going to see it finally see a deeper correction for the next possible buy the dip scenario? So let's jump in. Welcome back, Market Snipers. This is Jesse, and hope everyone had a good weekend. It's about 5:45 p.m. my time on Sunday evening, so we're getting a jump on it before tomorrow's live stream tomorrow morning. If you're not on the live streams, definitely join us over there. So let's jump in. Let's turn our indicator back on over here. The sharpshooter candles 3.1. And here we go. Quick recap, right? We had that bullish divergence followed by that higher low. We were talking about it. We were covering it, not only in the Discord, but also on the Twitter X app and stuff like that. And then from there, we were talking about January 3rd, January 4th, right around the changing of January 3rd, January 4th, about taking my first leverage long position there. And then shortly after, I think it was January 9th, the week of January 9th, had our first buy signal hit. Yep, as you can see there. Since then, it was pretty much just bullish on the weekly chart, then flipped back around with the sell signal, consolidated. We were all over it. We were talking about it. And then there was a buy signal, consolidated, regained the 200-week moving average to the upside, and then became overbought, became ultra bullish, right? Back in October, and you can see the magic wand. It's also when it's overbought, it's also when sometimes when the magic happens. So you'll hear us talk about that a lot. Many will get out of their position there because it's overbought, and sometimes that is a point where you could have probably taken profit, and that in hindsight that might be the peak. But you could also possibly push it to the upside as well. Continued upward, as I said, 8 consecutive green candles in a row, followed by its first red candle. One of the things we talked about on the last video is it was getting very extended away from the trending dots, getting very extended away from the moving averages. So you would expect price to kind of take a break from all the pumping, being that it's probably not the full bull run until sometime after the halving, right? Or right before the halving, it starts for the full bull run. And that's what we've been talking about. We've been covering it. We've been talking about it, covering it, and we're going to dive in deeper. We're going to drop down the daily chart here, and you can see where even the trending dots are below $36,000 still, right? So pretty far extended away. And you can see back here on this candle, when it got very extended away, it came back and retested it and then pushed up higher, then came back and retested it and then dropped back below, kind of battled it for a while. And then since that last move up, since October, it just shoved right straight up, right? Very, very steep trending dots. And it's been very far extended away from the trending dots. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And so eventually it's going to come back and retest it, right? So you stretch out that rubber band to one side to the left, comes back to the middle, and then sometimes even goes back to the right. So got extended pretty far up to the upside of the rubber band. Here's the rubber band, comes all the way back down. Same here, back here, and then down here, and then all the way up to the upside. So we will see. Let's dive into the daily chart. Let's keep going. We're going to try to keep this video 10, 15 minutes at the most. We're already at 4 minutes, so we're going to rock and roll here. This is the daily chart, and we've been covering this, and we've been talking about it, and we've been covering it. So a quick recap of the daily chart. We were talking about prices getting oversold, right? So not only does the indicator tell us if it's getting overbought, but also tells us when it gets oversold. And then down here, we're calling out bullish divergence. Then we're calling out a reversal candle. And then there's a higher low, and then price took off to the upside. Now, fast forward to what we've been talking about since we've not had a correction. We haven't even had a sell signal since October 15th. So we've gone 2 straight months almost of just price going straight up, which is awesome, right? It is awesome. So we had from October 25th, we've been calling it out. October 25th to November 1st was the first signs of bearish divergence, right? So bearish divergence, bearish divergence, bearish divergence. So if we call it out, our sharpshooter RSI indicator over here is letting us know this red line means bearish divergence. And you can change the settings on it to make it more sensitive or less sensitive, or no, to detect less candle closes or more candle closes. That's what I want to try to say. So we had from this candle to this candle, bearish divergence, to here, bearish divergence, right? And then additional bearish divergence all the way to December 5th. That's what we've been talking about. That's what we've been covering. And then this, we were talking about this even on the live streams. It's too early to say. It's starting to look like a possible lower high. But we were talking about it back here. This was looking like a possible lower high, not confirmed. This was looking like a possible lower high, not confirmed. And then we were talking about how it looks like all these wicks, if we get a candle close back above, just under 38,000, we were talking about 37,875-ish, right? And we get a candle close above, then we're going to be looking for higher prices. So that's what happened. Now we've got additional bearish divergence. Even back here, we're talking about there's a possibility of additional bearish divergence, right? So even as of right now, there is a lower possibility, a lower probability. There is still a possibility of additional bearish divergence. Okay. So if we get a candle close back below 41,235 ish right here in this candle from December 11th, then this lower high is confirmed with a lower low, right? So it's trending that way. If today's candle would just started 48 minutes ago, right? If this candle closes below 41,235 ish, right? Then that is a lower high, and then that is a lower low, and then the probabilities are stacked that we're going lower, right? So we have targets to the downside. So let's put those on. So I drew this downward trend line. It's in a downtrend, right? There's even a red candle, a red candle. There is even a red trending dot already on this first candle to the downside. There's no sell signal. There's multiple candle close below the trending dots. There's multiple candle close below this upward trend line, which I'm putting in the newsletter. I'm going to be sending out a newsletter, and I spent a lot of time on the newsletter. So definitely go check out the newsletter if you're watching this video and you didn't see this video from the newsletter, which is also included into the newsletter. It's a free newsletter. Definitely go sign up. You can find it either on my Twitter X app main account, Jesse Olson, or you can find it on the website, the newsletter. And I did a full write-up on Bitcoin, Ethereum, NASDAQ, and then also an opportunity alert. So definitely go check out that free newsletter. Share it with your friends and family. Share it on your socials. Help me, help you, help me. And I appreciate all of your support. So let's keep going. Multiple candle closes below the trending dots. There's a red trending dot. Multiple candle closes below this upward trend line that I had drawn out. And it's hit 3 shorter term targets to the downside so far. Has not hit this 4th short-term target to the downside yet. And as you can see, this was looking like a lower high. And then RSI is already taking out this low here, right? So RSI did make a lower low as of this last candle close at 5 p.m. my time. So 4 p.m. my time, sorry. So that candle close took out RSI low already. So it seems like price will follow and also take out this low here. So it put in a lower high, a lower low. Doesn't mean it can't continue to do that prior to a bigger move down. So in the entire time, even on the last video, if you go back to the last video, we had 2 scenarios. Would price find support at one of these shorter term targets similar to this, from back here? I think it was back here when we did the video a week ago, right? Yeah, so a week ago, would it come down like this, find support at key targets, come up like that, and then come back down to these lower prices before the next halving event? The next halving event is estimated April 18th, 2024, right? So would this happen? That was kind of scenario 1 as price is breaking down. If price doesn't find support at this key target 3 or key target 4, find support and bounce, then I'm going to say scenario 2, right? So scenario 2, already mapping out with an arrow to the downside. Let's go ahead and put this back on. We did this before. We've had this on the charts already. This isn't something that's new. So if price doesn't find support at key target 4 or key target 3, which it has so far, there's 3 days in a row where it retested target 3 and then bounced to the upside. So if it starts closing below target 3, then we're going to expect target 4. If it starts closing below target 4, then we're going to say scenario 1 is no longer an option, right? And then what we're going to say is that came up like this, comes back down, maybe another lower high, then continues downward after that. Wherever it does, could do multiple lower highs, right? And then come back down for a move down here to the yellow box. And then that would be the next correction, the next possible buy the dip scenario for Bitcoin before the halving. And that's happened several times in the past and previous cycles. If you go over here onto the halving tracker, I know it's kind of bright. It's really bright white over here. But as you can see over here, past cycles kind of line up, right? The lows, give or take a certain amount. It's not the exact same day. Price points, a lot of them line up here. And then I've been calling this out and talking about it, right? Definitely go follow the halving track over there, like their stuff, share it, right? I'll come back and share it probably on my main account. This is my market sniper account. So you can see there was kind of a peak here before a big correction before the halving, right? There's a peak here, even a double top peak here. And then there's a peak here right around the 1320 days-ish is what I've been kind of talking about. And again, was that another peak just after 1300 days? Not confirmed yet, but it is possible. We've been talking about it. We've been covering it. We're not talking about in hindsight. We're covering it in real time. So that's what we're going to continue to do. And always say foresight is greater than hindsight. That's where we're at. That's 12 minutes. So what we're going to talk about is if it starts to close, if we get a sell signal, assuming we get a sell signal, assuming we start getting candle closes below target 3, target 4, and it starts to break down, then I'm going to say there's a multiple reasons why price would come back down below $35,000. There's multiple confluence areas around 32,000 and even lower from there. You can see even the 200-week moving average it's a slower moving average, but it's kind of turning upward. Currently at 29,600. There's some reasons why even at $30,000, right? So it's possible price will come back down there. We've got bearish divergence, so bringing back down to under $35,000 as well. So we're going to continue to watch it, continue to see it play out. If we drop down the lower time frames, we've been talking about it, right? 12-hour chart just had a sell signal. 12-hour chart had a couple other sell signals, bounce back up, possibly put in that lower high. Still not confirmed. Even though on our side there is a lower low, there isn't on price yet. So it could be telling us. But we've been covering it even on the 4-hour chart this whole entire time, even in the Discord, even when price is breaking down here on last week's video, on last Sunday, price was at 43,400, 300-ish, right? We're talking about it and live while I was recording it. Well, it wasn't live. I was recording it. But while I was recording it, it was starting to break down and then came all the way down and hit target 3 while I was on the video. I was only on the video for 27 minutes. But I was on it for 27 minutes. And in that time period, it came down, nailed that target, hit it again. You can see it was finding support, right? There was a little bit of bullish divergence on the 4-hour chart, bounce all the way back up. We mapped it out on this buy signal. Would it run into this resistance up here? There was a confluence reason of not only the downward trend line, but also a key target area there. And so I was mapping it out, not only in the Discord, I even believe the Twitter X app and stuff like that over there. So definitely go take a look at those old charts, but it was running into resistance. And then I had the trend line drawn a little bit more trending downward, and it was looking like a fake out on these lower time frames. Remember, this is a 4-hour chart. And then price came back down, right? Wick down here, pump back up, blah, 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 back and forth. Looks like another possible lower high here on these lower time frames in the 4-hour chart. Getting back to this target again. So even on these lower time frames, you start closing back below this third target, then of course we're going to say the fourth target. If it doesn't find support of the fourth target, and that is that shorter term buy the dip scenario, then this arrow comes into play for that longer term correction, that longer term buy the dip scenario before the halving. And it could be leading the way of the NASDAQ, right? The NASDAQ has had 7 consecutive weekly green candles, and Bitcoin had 8. So is Bitcoin leading the way? Sometimes it does, right? Not always, but sometimes it does. So that's about it. We do not have a buy signal on the daily chart yet. Please smash the like button. Please smash the subscribe button. Share this with friends and family. Share this with your people on your socials. I would appreciate it. And again, thanks for all of your support. I appreciate you. And we'll see you on the live stream tomorrow. And I'll get this sent out right away. Thank you. Bye.